everybody, James Shepard here with another edition of the Self-Storage Insight Podcast. Got Damon Emerson on here today. Great reputation in the industry from StorSuite. So we're talking about tenant protection. We're talking about marketing your facility. We are talking about occupancy rates. We're talking about management, having an outside company manage. So a broad-ranging episode just because Damon has done so many interesting things and because StorSuite has so many different things that they offer. So excited about that. This podcast is brought to you by CCStorage. You can head over to CCStorage.com to schedule a free demo and learn more about all the exciting features that we have to offer in self-storage management software. With that being said, let's dive into this interview. Hey, everybody, I'm here today with Damon Emerson. Damon is the Vice President of Sales and Customer Success over at StorSuite. How are you doing today, Damon?
I am good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. For those who are not watching the video version, I just have to say that your jacket is fantastic. You're doing a great job there.
It's actually a funny thing. It's the first time I've been able to actually fit in it since I've lost all this weight. So,
congratulations. That's great. I know it looks really good. So he's got StorSuite all over him. He's wearing the brand. So I love it. It looks great. So, Damon, before we dive into this episode today, I just have to get you to share your story because I was looking at your bio and you have done a lot of things in the self-storage industry. So take me back to when did you get into this crazy industry? How did you end up in it? And then give us a little bit of that story of kind of how did you end up doing what you're doing now?
Sure. So I've been in storage 19 years or close to 19 years now. I got in on a just relationship. It's been kind of the essence of my career. It's all about the relationships. But I was working with QVC and they were training me to be a behind the scenes kind of working with some of the talent. I was doing call center stuff for them at the time. And the CEO went on a family vacation to Greece, came back and fired an entire branch of QVC. And I was one of 300 people that were cattle called. But my boss at the time said, I'm going to find you. And when I do, answer my call. And she called and said, I need you to trust me. I'm actually going to be creating a call center for one of these big self-storage groups. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to get into storage, right? Because my whole experience of storage was having gear stolen out of a unit when I was 19 years old by a manager, right? So that was what I had.
Wow.
So I ended up listening to her, trusting her, thanks to my wife. I give my wife all the credit for every amount of my storage career because I was not going to do this. And because my wife is my best friend, she kind of stood me up and said, I don't know who you think you are, but you're the person that says you'll give anything an opportunity and listen. You have a close friend who's telling you to trust her. And you're second guessing if you should do it or not. Just do it. And it led me into just this amazing career. And I helped to create a call center with a big team, amazing team for UStoreit before they became CubeSmart. They actually took 10 days into it. I took the first call, made the first reservation, and they gave me this marketing opportunity to create a lead generation program. And that was my entrance into self-storage. And I learned quickly that this industry is about relationships, which is most of my life, and really just being authentic. And that's why I've always tried to kind of do that. That led me to signing up a client, talking to them about lead generation, reservations, online, all that. And one of my clients asked me to give them time to discuss a tenant protection program they were looking to build or finalize called StorSmart. And I ended up making my next foray into the industry and became a senior sales director for StorSmart Tenant Insurance. We grew to be the fastest growing insurance program at the time. Almost 11 years, 10 and a half years later, this company Storable is now in existence, and they bought all these different entities and they wanted to get into insurance. We had an amazing relationship. I'm a big proponent of SiteLink software. Even today, I think they do, with the relationships I have, I still think they do a good job.
Sure.
But they're a large company now, right? Well, they bought us the same day that we bought one of our main competitors, Bader Insurance. I was with them for another 2 years before I realized, you know what, I have a different path. And there are things that I am not going to change about what I do. I took a 6-month hiatus with a company that I refuse to mention just because I don't want to give them any press. But it led me to a close friend who is one of my business partners now. But he came to me. His name is John Manus. A lot of people know of him. If you don't, find find a video podcast YouTube because he's a genius. But he came to me, and because I had helped him 14 years earlier in the industry, and I was one of a few people he gave credit to saving his career. He wanted to pay back a favor after he sold 15 facilities with his business partner, and the opportunity was he wanted to make me his business partner in this company called StorSuite, which is a tenant protection program. And still to this day, it kind of gives me chills because it's not what most people do, right? You don't give ownership in a company, but he wanted to pay me back, and in doing so, I recreated Storage Shield in the idea and product of what it is, and ended up creating really a hybrid that it is both insurance and protection, but it's done from a equal participation between tenant and owner as far as who's going to be protected. And it's very transparent. A lot of what you hear from me in general is there's a transparent piece that I will never give up. And I want everybody to understand that when they're dealing with me, they're going to get upfront honesty. They're going to get what's going in and out, whether you like it or not. But I mean, I'm not mean about it, but my job in this industry is to pay back the people that gave me the opportunities. And the best way I know how to do that is to keep educating and making sure that I'm helping people get in the right position.
Wow, that's great. There's so much you said, and we could spend a whole podcast just on the whole wife thing, right? Of having a wife that you listen to, right? I'm blessed similarly, so I can definitely appreciate that. But let's unpack this a little bit. So when we talk about this insurance concept for self storage, for those who are listening to the podcast, maybe they're really new. They've just got one little property they just got for the first time, and they don't even know what we're talking about or how this works. Give us the short version of like what is that exactly and why is it important?
Well, in case you didn't realize, obviously I didn't mention StorSuite when I was going through it, because what StorSuite is the essence of kind of that. So,
right.
As an owner in Storage Shield, we did a lot, and we recreated how people look at it. But it was the conversation that I had with my partners now, and what we decided, or what they decided, is there has to be a better way to take care of clients, but also make sure that the tenants are taken care of. And what we wanted to do was just come up with a better process. Well, John Manus, Robbie Dunn, and Christina Alvino kind of had this vision and this idea of what's the best way to make sure that we are taking care of our clients and taking care of other clients, but giving people an idea of what they can expect from a vendor. And decided that merging companies together was the best idea. Because we had all had success, we had all have a customer service piece to it, and we'd all had a place in the industry where people were coming to us. I felt like at one point a third of my time was consulting people on just what I know. Well, it was the same for them. And what we found was the industry is in an interesting place at that time. So this was a couple years ago. For me, it was 4 years with Storage Shield, but 2 years ago, it was kind of changing to where owners were starting to have an expectation of, you have to give me information. Like, I don't want to solely rely on just, hey, I'm going to trust you to do this. I need to know what you're doing. So for us, having a marketing and website company to give a better path for people to understand what they should expect out of their marketing company, is it just a website? Is it just marketing? No, it's a mixture of everything. And there's a path that we can lead you down. And on the tech side, is it just about, hey, I need to have an app and some cool things so people think I'm advanced? No, that's not what it is at all. What is that tool going to do for you to help your business? And don't just trust us. Let us teach you. Let us introduce so that you fully understand what's going to happen. Third-party management. Yes, most owners that want to be hands-off, they don't know how to go about doing it. So you want to be hands-off, that's great, but you got to trust and rely on the right people to do it. And are they giving you everything that you need, or are they just saying trust us and just collect a check? That's what people expect out of management, and it's so far from the truth. Is it the tenant protection side? Tenant protection, it's the wild west when it comes to tenant protection, because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, there's a lot of bait and switches, you have a lot of money being thrown at it. And the reason it's being done is because if you can be blinded by a dollar sign, you're going to ignore the magnitude of everything else that's going on. Right. And that's, for us, that's kind of what we want to do in the self-storage industry. That has become a lot about who can afford to buy something, who are we going to buy, are the big guys controlling it? Well, then, okay, well, who are the big marketing companies? Well, you have software companies that are trying to create a piece of everything so that you have a one-stop shop, which isn't bad. Like we have 4 suites. We're not trying to be a one-stop shop. It's about providing answers. If you can
Mm.
work with us and our suites can help you on all of them, that's great. We're going to do it. But you're going to know everything that's going on along the way, and you're also
Sure.
going to learn things. There's going to be an
Right.
educational piece to it.
Mm.
It kind of
Yeah.
answered your question, but kind of went off. But it's really the essence of why StorSuite, exists today, right? It's a service need, but really there's a story behind it to make sure that owner
Mhm.
operators are being taken care of and being put in
Yeah.
the right position.
Hey, everybody, let's take a quick break from this interview. I want to talk to you about the website program. So, when you're talking about CCStorage and getting that software, we also are going to offer you the ability to immediately get a website. Damon actually mentions it in this episode about getting just a really inexpensive website up and running quickly so that you have a place where people can go and rent their units. We also have an upgraded package for SEO that also includes the local business listing. So, we have that available as well, and our team will work with you to ensure we get that set up properly. Now, having said that, there are going to be those times where, yeah, you're going to want to work with a larger marketing company like StorSuite and what they have to offer. And we highly encourage that as well, which is why we work so closely with Damon and StorSuite to ensure that our software works well in the context of what they're trying to do. So if you want to learn more about a self-storage software that does not charge any software fees, that allows you to offset the entire cost of payment processing while providing a robust feature set for you to manage your facilities, head over to CCStorage.com and schedule a free demo today. With that being said, let's dive back into this interview with Damon. So let's do this. Let's actually break down. You mentioned the kind of the 4 suites that you have. Let's break those down and talk about the challenges that the self-storage property owners are facing with each. So let's start with the tenant protection. So what are you solving on the tenant protection side? What's your differentiator in the market in terms of that particular product?
Well, so tenant insurance typically is about protecting tenants, making them whole. Byproduct is owner operator benefits. Tenant protection turns the page a little bit, does a 180. It's about providing revenue, and they hone in on it's all about the revenue for the owner. A byproduct may or may not be protecting the tenant. It's how it's done. So then you take what I've wanted to do, and I talked about this 5 years ago. I said the day that it comes that a tenant protection company can provide a strong piece of customer service or support, and they do it in the right way, you will make tenant protection powerful. So when I came aboard, my whole entire goal was I want to have the best of both worlds. And spending almost 11 years in tenant insurance and understanding claims and understanding the service, and it's not just about sales, it's about providing a training platform, right? So that managers know what they're doing, so that
Right.
we can provide revenue so that owners can have it, and then making sure the tenants have to be protected. So I will tell you the stance that I always take is tenants are 1A, facility manager operations owner are 1B. They have to have equal power, equal protection for these programs to work, right? And that's
Yeah.
what we try to accomplish. And that's why, like, I want to have a state of the art training. I helped develop the training for StorSmart Insurance and Bader that they use today. I was part of building that and realizing it. So I took what works and brought it into protection. That's what we want to be able to do. And along the way, there's a huge piece of transparency. You are going to know what you are getting. I'm not going to tell someone I'm going to pay you this because I'm going to show you that it's all about the money. I don't make it about the money. I'm also going to make sure that you know what's going on with the training. And my team and our team is amazing when it comes to, well, you're going to find our whole entire team in the company is amazing. Every aspect of it. On the protection side, it's all about making sure tenants are made whole, right? And we
Right.
utilize our tech as part of that, our StorePass product, right? We've created
Mhm.
something for our storage shield clientele.
Right. Right.
So from a,
So
sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah. So I love it. So yeah. So as far as the a self-storage property owner is concerned, we have those who maybe aren't even offering protection programs at all, right? What do you say to those people about why should they be offering it if they're not? What is the? I know there's kind of 2 sides of this, right? So what's the benefit? How do you talk to those self-storage property
Um,
owners?
ignore the noise. When it comes down to it, you are not wronging your tenants. A lot of people that aren't doing it, they think, well, it's a money grab. And not if it's done correctly, it's not a money grab. Money's there, revenue's there, but you always talk about revenue as the last piece of it. It has to be to take care of your tenants, to lower your risk of liability. An owner operator should
Mhm.
be able to offer a product and not have to worry about being made part of the claim, right? They should be able to be hands
Right.
off and trust that the company is going to put them in a position where they're not fielding calls from a tenant going, why was I just enrolled in this product? I don't even know what this is. Why did you automatically enroll me? Why am I paying for this and I can't even get the claims company to get back to me?
Right.
Why have you done this? I don't even know what my coverage is. Like they shouldn't have to work with
It
that
shouldn't be
because
like a trade-off, right? It's like you don't want to be in a situation where the trade-off for the revenue is that you're stuck in the middle of every claim
yeah,
and
it's
having a bad
trust.
experience.
You're
Yeah,
entrusting us to take care of your tenants. And if I've made promises to you and my operations has made promise to you and claims, well then guess what? We better darn well make sure that we're meeting those promises and we're doing
sure.
it above and beyond.
Sure. All right.
Yep.
So so I want to dive into some of these other suites for a minute. So you mentioned, I think the marketing side a little bit. So talk about what are you guys doing and what are kind of common mistakes that you see that self-storage property owners are making where they're like, man, a lot of vacancy, we're trying to fill it up. What are they
Yeah.
doing wrong and how do you help?
In some, boy, that's a double-edged sword right there. Um, well, I'll give you a great success story we recently had.
Sure.
And so software, the new thing with software companies are, hey, we're going to offer a cookie cutter website. And that's not a knock. I love the fact that in the software world, you have the ability to offer these great customer service friendly options, right? And being able to have a $25, $30 website quickly, it really makes it easier to be able to work within the confines of what you need from your software. And I love that. And I think there's something that is very important about that. But what I find happens is some software programs try to fence it, right? And what ends up happening is you realize there's a money or a financial side of it that can benefit. And you have some software programs that all of a sudden now want to be website companies and marketing companies, along with being software. And then they want to get into these other areas. The problem is it clouds the full service option, right? Like CCStorage. I love CC. I'm a big proponent. I've told everybody about it. I will continue to tell everybody about it because I think
Thank
what
you.
they offer and I think what you guys are doing is important because you have taken this, we will deal with the ones, the twos, the threes, the fives, but we'll also deal with 30 and 40,
Right.
facility companies, right? But you've given this option so that people that are going, I don't want to afford $400 a month or $300 a month.
Right.
I have 100, I have 150 units. What do I do? Well, here's
Right.
your option, and we're going to give it to you at a great
Right.
cost. And guess what? If you don't want to invest in a marketing, we're going to give you this. But what I find happens is when they start realizing and understand, they're going to want to take the next level.
Absolutely.
And
And
I
they
want to
should.
be able to, and they should, right? But what
Yeah.
happens is you start, and this has been eye-opening. This is an education for me in the marketing. I have gotten a crash course over the last 12 months on truly understanding marketing, and I have such an immense appreciation for our marketing team and what they have to deal with. And I'll tell you, 2 years ago, I may not have had that to the extent that I do now because you don't get to see behind the scenes. You don't get to see why it's so important to have one single person as your client success manager
Mm,
day in and day out. You don't get to
yeah.
see what that they deal with on the back end in, hey, listen, we have to do better in this market to get more Google ads going. We got to get people brought in the traffic, but it's the mindset of how they go about doing it. I find in just the conversations, what happens is a lot of owners, because it's marketing and marketing is intimidating, right? We all think we can market and you have ideas and we can do all this, but you realize quickly when you have your business that all these grand ideas equal this,
Hmm.
right? When you need all of this. So what happens in marketing is it's you don't know the questions you're supposed to ask, right? And then you don't know what answers should be right. Do I want to get with a marketing company where I'm just, I own the website, or I'm going to have a website, but I pay month to month, which what happens when I decide that maybe this marketing company isn't right for me? Well, you lose your website. If you're paying
Right.
month to month, most people don't realize. So wait a minute. So I don't own my own website. So what happens if I leave? You're starting the
Hmm.
process all over again. Hopefully you've learned something, right?
Right.
Or,
Right.
what should I get with local listings? How much? Here's a great one. You'd asked me before we decided to do StorSuite because I worked with our marketing company from a storage
Hmm.
shield, and they helped our
Right.
business immensely.
Yeah.
But going into it, you'd ask me, okay, your Google ads, like how much should you spend? I would have said, well, you probably have to throw $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 in it, which there are marketing companies that push this. What I've learned is, or you could just trust the marketing company to tell you what you should spend. And it takes two
Right.
to 3 months to figure out because it's all about the analytics. It's about the
Right.
algorithm, what happens. And most
Yeah.
marketing companies, it takes 2 to 3 months. I was never told that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So most owners don't know that either. So you have to make someone
Mm.
realize this is what we do. This is our specialty. There has to be some trust, but there also has to be patience, not just patience on the tenant and client side, but patience on the marketing side to be able to make sure that that message blends. I think
Yeah.
most owner operators get impatient. They think it's a quick fix. It's not. And they think that it's good to think you know a lot. And I love when people have an understanding of marketing. The marketing industry in our side of it with self storage, you have to be willing to listen or work with your client because
Hmm.
they deserve to have a voice. They hired you,
Yeah.
you didn't hire them. And I
Right.
think what happens is when owners can take a step back and they start talking to the marketing company to get the right questions asked, but also make sure they're getting the right answers.
Mm.
That's where it changes a lot. It's about listening, right?
Yeah.
Like I talk, and I probably warned you, like there's no answer that's going to be simple for me because I
Yeah. Of
think
course.
I get excited. There's so many different pieces to the marketing website, right? Like we had, I'm so I just am so appreciative of who we have on our team, and I really do love our people, and I feel fortunate that we have them. But like we just had an amazing success with our one of our own stores and marketing. We have made some changes within our properties, and we had a situation. We were having our property management software kind of had a I want to say some concerns with what was going on, right? From a
Yeah.
software standpoint. And
Sure.
we took a step back and our marketing team not only caught it, but they had it fixed in less than an hour in something that in the past maybe would have taken half of a day or a full day, right?
Right.
That
Right.
allowed us with one of our clients on the protection side, who we now are taking care of on the marketing side, to realize they were working with a software company, not you guys. They were working with a software company that offered them a website, and they were not getting rentals, and they were losing, and they weren't. There was some gap, and
Yeah.
it looked like the software was fully functioning, not an issue whatsoever. We kind of got into it, was able to talked to them on the website and found that there was a disconnect because they were trying to focus on so many hands in the cookie jars that not only were
Hmm.
they not benefiting on the software side as they should, it was completely affecting the website. Well, we had a website built for them in 6 weeks, I want to say 7 weeks, which is a little quicker than normal, but they had the inner workings of what could be done. We were able to take that, fix it, and then we saw it quickly within, I want to say 3 weeks, you know,
Mm.
I won't say the percentage, but it was a multi-percent hike in just the
Yeah.
business coming in. And it was
Mm.
just because they were able to go, hey, do me a favor, take a look and tell me what you see. Right. And
Yeah.
and before they didn't want to have it. They were getting a cheap website and that's all that mattered.
Right. Right.
It's all that matters until it doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so interesting too, like just along those lines. And my background is marketing, owned a lot of different businesses and, you look at how much marketing changes so
Yeah.
quickly. If you were like, well, I'm an expert in marketing. It's like, well, if you were an expert in marketing 3 years ago, then you're not an expert in marketing today.
No.
It's changed too much. I mean, look at the way AI is taking over search and just there's a million things we could talk about. But I think,
Well, that's where
leaning on
having
the experts, is so important.
well, it is. And I have, my expert is Taylor Johnson, right? And I'm actually I would love to get her up speaking in front of groups because I think she has a different perspective to it, but
Mhm.
you will never find a person that is more just dedicated to making sure that she's learning while doing everything else. And that's where
Yeah.
she is so
It's so
great. And
important.
she's been amazing for me. She has helped me. I mean, she's kind of been a teacher, right, when it comes to the marketing, but she's also been someone that, she just her and her team put together a recent webinar on management, and we'll get into
Mm.
management in a second. But the effort and the time Taylor put into it to not only just the outreach to getting your audience, but into making who did our webinar more comfortable just within the guidelines of just explaining and teaching and showing. it
Sure.
it went a long way. And I think that's something that a lot of these marketing companies miss, is
Yeah.
because they just expect you to trust them and they're the experts. But she takes a hands-on approach, and it's personal to her. Like, she wants to
Yeah.
make sure that it is
That's
never
important too.
missed. I
Yeah,
do. I think
absolutely.
it's key.
Yep, I
I
agree.
still can't totally explain SEO, but I mean, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I
No,
have
of
Taylor for
course.
that. I have Taylor
That's
and Julia
exactly
for that.
right. Right. All right, so we talked about tenant protection. We talked about marketing. Let's talk about management. You alluded to it already. So I'm a property. Maybe I've got 4 or 5 locations. I've got 500-600 units, and I'm like, boy, I'd really like to outsource some of this management, and I'd like to maybe put a few less hours a week into this. What do I need to do, and how do you guys work in that scenario?
For us, it's conversations. I can have my hand in every suite, with the exception of third-party management. And the reason for that is, we have a gentleman named Mike Lotta. And anybody who hasn't had a chance to watch the webinar we did a couple weeks ago, Mike was on it. Mike has forgotten more about storage than probably all of us combined. He is one of those people that you kind of wake up one day and you go, we really have a gift with having him oversee our management. But what it is it's understanding and just knowing the questions to ask. Third party management, above everything else, it's about the questions that are asked and the time it takes to be quiet and listen. And, there are a lot of owners. We have someone that we've been talking to, they have a multiple stores, and they're frustrated and they want to grow. And it really just comes down to, I can't do all of this.
Right.
I'm really good at acquiring and finding. I don't know
Mm,
how to run this. And, one had a revolving door of managers. Well, that's where you come in and go, okay, how do you guys do it? And, Mike will come in, he'll ask 1,000,001 questions, but he knows the answers to a lot of them. But his job isn't to tell you how much he knows. His job is to, you tell me so I can show you. And then he
right.
does an audit and he looks at what you're getting in your software. He'll look at, so I had him, so we had a great guy talking to us, awesome owner, had a lot of questions, was trying to figure out, should I need management? What should I do? Mike
Right.
talked him out of it just based on the conversation, not because we didn't want it, but Mike's like, listen, I can take your money, but why should I? You have
Right.
this down. Here's what you need to do. And come to find out,
Mm,
there were things in the software that wasn't being addressed the way that it needed to be. So he
yeah.
went and Mike walked him through what to do. Now, how does that matter? That guy had a friend who needed management, and we're going to manage that facility for him. Why?
Mm,
Because he now is an advocate for us. That's what happens within
right.
management. For us,
Yep.
it's having a manager, it's making sure what are your, you know, what's your occupancy? When was your last rate increase? Are we maximizing rentals, your lien notices, your late payments? And it's really just finding the hot points. Like, what is
Mm,
your monthly revenue? Are you bringing in $20,000 a month? Well, do you know that you actually have potential for 35 to 40,000? Why aren't we getting that? And it's
right.
finding out, you know, what the hot points are. It's sales 101 at that point, but also it's, where are you lacking? Where are you hurting? And then how can we take you from 65% occupancy to 82 to 87% occupancy? And what does that mean to the
Yeah.
revenue? That's what we specialize in. And that's also why you're not going to see 150 managed companies by StorSuite in a year and a half time. And that's nothing against the companies that are growing at that pace. But I can tell you from experience, every company that's grown at that pace, with the exception of one, is going through major growing pains. And you lose
Yep.
as much business as you gain at that point. Why?
Mhm.
Well, because you can only grow so fast while bringing in the right amount of employees and not have major issues. Management is an industry where having minute issues become large issues very quickly. So
Yeah.
for us, it's taken a very methodical approach, making sure the right, and I mean, it doesn't hurt that, we have Mike Lotta, who's amazing. We have John Manus, who's coming on his 20-year anniversary, who knows operations. You have Robbie
Hmm.
Dunn, who before he partnered with John, and then they helped they created StorSuite. He owned 3 or 4 or 5 stores. Christine has been in the industry working with stores. Christina Alvino, our CEO, for 14 years. Scott Warden has worked on both the operations and the vendor side. He's our CGO, and you have me who's sitting here 19 years. I've been a vendor, but I've worked on the operations, and like we can take all of our ideas and try to help to create different paths. And then you have the people that
Yeah.
are working behind the scenes, right? So everything with third party management is how can we help? And Mike kind
Yeah.
of leads us, right? Kind of
Yeah.
leads us
Love
into
it.
what he needs.
That's great. So, Damon, I have one more question for you today as we kind of start wrapping up here. I'm thinking about your role as a board member in the Pennsylvania Self Storage Association, right? When you think about the broader context of the industry today, what are you keeping an eye on? What are the big trends that you're looking at that you feel like self storage property owners should be looking at? What's the state of the industry? Give us some of the high level stuff that you're thinking about and
Tech,
talking to your clients
tech,
about.
and tech. I think so. I will always have my specialty is tenant protection, risk liability, risk aversion. But as an owner, one of the co-founders of StorSuite, I spend as much time now on the marketing and management and then tech.
Sure.
And what I've learned from tech is, we have a product called StorePass, and it's a wallet pass. Doesn't need Wi-Fi. Everything is done through what you have on your Android or iOS device. It's this wallet
Mm,
pass, and we've learned, or I've learned in just watching the tech, having the ability to give someone, hey, you can rent, you have better communication, you can cut down manager communication by 60+% just through the store pass. But what I've learned is tech, including AI, are what is most talked about a lot. So we've made the push. I will talk about StorePass as I am now. I know it probably wasn't expected, but a lot, because I think utilizing tech tools are what's
yeah.
going to change our industry, and
Hmm.
it's going to and it's going to continue, sorry, to increase that growth. Maybe it's not always going to be a big revenue builder, because I think with tech, if you're making a ton of money on tech, just like your wallet passes, your
Hmm.
sensors, some of these things, you're probably overcharging, because markup or whatever you want to call it, like it has to solve a purpose, right? So
Right.
for us, it was better communication. It was the ability to have a better setup, renting units, being able to see where your unit is, and the protection side, it's to be able to file claims more seamlessly and give tenants
Hmm.
the ability to know what's going on. That's what tech should be used for.
Yeah.
It's
Better
great to say,
experiences.
hey, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's great to say, hey, I have an app, right? I have
Right.
an app and they can do this, but you are succumbing to the Wi-Fi signal at the facility level probably 80% of the time, which, as we all know, isn't typically going to be the greatest if you don't have a super expensive setup. So I
Yeah.
think
Sure.
as our industry grows, we're going to start seeing more things with tech. We're going to start seeing AI take just a stranglehold. As much as I mean, Google's been utilizing AI for 15 years, and I don't think any of us realized that until the last 18 months, when all we've heard is AI at every,
Hmm.
self-storage convention, right? But I
Yep.
think these are areas that, as we learn how to work them into our everyday duties, as we see what new companies are coming into play, it's going to change how we look at things, because we have to be willing to change. And that doesn't mean a warm body is going to continue to be needed at some point of the self-storage process. We believe that you need managers, but that
Hmm.
doesn't mean that the remote companies are wrong. What it means
Right.
is you still need someone, and even if you're remote, you have a
Right.
warm body that's going to be working with the tenant at some point. That cannot be replaced, and we cannot allow it to be replaced, because you have to keep the empathetic side of the industry intact. What we
Yeah.
need to do is make sure we're utilizing tech as the tool that it's
Mm.
supposed to be.
I love it. Damon, for those who listen today and just want to learn a little bit more about StorSuite and what you do, where would you send them to learn more?
I would send them to our website, www.storsuite.com. You can feel free to give me a call at 717-870-9572. And I mean that I am here to help. My goal in the industry is to be a voice. And I've shared this with everybody. If you've ever read my bio, I always end my bios with, I will always be willing to sit down and talk, take a call, email with anybody, because I believe it's my responsibility now. I don't have my career
Yeah.
without the people that were there for me, and I will
Sure.
be here for others. So I would say reach out, do that. Our website is a wealth of information, but it also
Sure.
leads you into the different path. It allows you the opportunity to reach out to us, connect. You will hear from me 95% of the time. So those are your best way. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Just type my name in, but you can do that with all of the owners in the company.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
those are the best, and those are the best ways to find me right now. I feel like I've said a few more times than normal, so I apologize.
Not at all. Well, Damon, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. You got so much experience in the business, and certainly wish you great success. And thanks for taking the time to share
I
your insights with
appreciate it,
us.
guys. Thank you for the time, and thank you for just allowing me to bore you for the most part.
Not at all. Thanks again,
Thank you,
David.
guys.
Always a pleasure. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this episode of the Self Storage Insight Podcast. My name is James Shepard, your host. I appreciate you taking the time. This episode was brought to you by CCStorage. Head over to CCStorage.com to get a free demo of the best self-storage management software, what I believe is the best self-storage management software in the industry. Check that out today. And again, thank you for your time.